Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Business Every Day. I am just over the moon excited about today's project. We're going to be using a stock material today that is old, retro, classic, and we're going to be making some wall art pieces. If what I think comes into being, it is going to be really fun and interesting. So let me show you what we're going to be working with today. We are going to be using vinyl records. I'm so excited. This is a 12-inch record. My good friend went and bought me a whole stack for just a couple of dollars. What a deal was found. And we're going to try and cut in some designs into this piece of material. I have seen a few examples of this being done with a laser, but I have not seen this done with a CNC machine. And so we're going to give it a try.
Okay, so I am a little intimidated by the prospects of using this material because it is flexible. It is a weird shape. It's got all these extra grooves, and so the depth of cut isn't exactly the same all the way around, so I'm going to have to do some averaging. And there's a hole in the middle, so I can't really zero the middle, and it's round, so I'm going to have to put it on something not round. And yeah, I have really no idea how this is going to turn out, but we're going to jump right on in.
Okay, this is going to be just a basic test to look at clampage and depth and just how this particular, it's a 1/16 end mill bit, and how it's going to interact with the vinyl disc. And we're going to do a basic cut and see how it goes. Well, I can tell you a couple of things right off the bat. One, the record is a very brittle material. Two, it makes a terrible smell because it like melts. And so I'm going to try a slower spindle speed. It's also super brittle, and if you can tell right there, it chipped rather than cut. But these lines up here are really clean, really good. It's really floppy, so I'm gonna have to figure out some double-sided tape, blue tape with glue thing, and yeah, we'll see. We're gonna try this again. I'm gonna add a little bit of depth and try and actually cut this thing out and see how that turns out. Well, we got 90% of the way through. Let's see if this will take us the rest of the way. Oh, I think it will. You know, for a first attempt, I'm not hating on it. There are definitely things that I could do better. The lines aren't super clean. But let's get it out of the clamps and see what we actually got. Lesson number 47 when working with vinyl records. It creates a lot of little plastic bits, so yeah. Dude. Wow. Okay. I'm not hating on this. As a first attempt, like, that's pretty cool. Okay, there's so much to learn here. It sheared off a layer of the vinyl, and then of course it sheared off some of the bottom pieces as well. It's pretty rough. The backside is really clean though. It's just where the end mill came in. So I got some more end mill bits coming this week, and supposedly they're better for cutting hard plastics. A little teaser is that I have a plate of carbon fiber that I will be working with very soon, so you'll want to stay tuned for that. But those same bits might actually work out for this vinyl. So yeah, let's check it out. I don't every single time, but I do my best to clean my work surface between each carve, and I have found it just gives me that much more consistent results. And so, yeah, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to swap out this 1/16 end mill bit for a 1/8 fluted single flute bit, and I'm going to give this one a go because I have found with acrylic that this bit doesn't have any trouble getting through the acrylic, and it doesn't melt the acrylic as much. It also doesn't snag, because one of the issues that I found is that the smaller bits seem to melt the plastic, vinyl, acrylic, and then it creates almost like strings, like melted strings, and then that gets wrapped around your bit, and that can cause inconsistencies and issues. So we're going to try this and see how it goes. Well, this is the jig configuration I have so far. I've gotten rid of all the floppy, and I think this has inspired me of, like, I can create, if I'm looking to manufacture this item, I can create a sandwich press that would have a rim that I could, like, almost like a vacuum mold around this piece. That might be an idea for later. But in the meantime, let's get this thing centered up, and let's try and cut out our design. Well, there you have it, you guys. Another cut in the books, and you know, it's not the worst thing I've ever made. There is going to be a lot to learn here. One of the things that I've noticed primarily is that the material of the record is not a consistent depth. So you got a high ridge on the end, you got this middle section, you got this secondary middle section, and then you got the actual middle, which is almost twice as thick as the scratch part of the record. And so I need to come up with a really interesting, cool jig to hold this down flat, and then also set some depth differences between, okay, the middle, the side, and I also need to make the parts that are very thin are just that, very thin. And so the mill gets caught. This is so lightweight that it begins to vibrate and break off, and so maybe the blue tape method would fix that problem, but I don't know. I gotta cut some more records, but it's super late, so I think I'm gonna stop for tonight and cut some more records. That was great. That's so bad. Okay, so I'm gonna put an end to it tonight before it gets any worse. I'm gonna get back to it tomorrow, and we'll check back in and let you know how it's going. Thank you so much for joining in, and I'll catch you next episode. Okay, one last thing. I want to provide you with my cut settings because I feel like that is super helpful, at least when I watch other people's videos, is to actually know what their settings were and how they went about their cut. My cut settings are, and it says automatic, but these are actually manual settings, 24 feed, 9-inch plunge at a 4/100ths of an inch depth per pass, and I am doing the offset pattern. So those are my cut settings that I've gone with so far with the records.